Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. True story, true story, true story. Thank you, Eileen, for that introduction. So I'm working in Atlanta. It's 2008. 2007, Marcus Roberts, pianist, comes to town. He's playing with the Atlanta Symphony. Marcus, Jason Marsalis, and Roland Guerin is playing bass. So after they perform, we're just sitting around talking. I said, Marcus, man, you're embracing so much of American music. This stride, this ragtime, man, you're doing it. Who's out there? Who's gonna come after you, man? And so Jason just kind of smiles, and Marcus says, there's some young lions out there, man. There's some young lions. And he said, one is Aaron Dill, and the other one is the man we're about to meet. Let me tell you about this brother. He has been called a certified musical genius by The Guardian. Classic FM says he's a once-in-a-generation talent with a passion for connecting people through music. Jon Batiste is a composer, he's an educator, he's a vocalist, he's a singer, he's a producer, he's a cultural ambassador. His honors include 8 Grammys, an Emmy, and an Oscar. All of this since I had that conversation with Marcus Roberts. He's achieved all of this stuff. Now his catalog of music spans many genres. But recently, he's been going back to his classical roots. A couple years ago, he made a record of Beethoven in his house. He's got another record coming out in a few months, and that's where he's going to preview with us today. He's kind enough to come in here and tell us about his record, Black Mozart. Please welcome Jon Batiste. Now, all of us that took piano tried to do something like we can.
It's the blues, really. That's the blues. It's the blues. You know, it's deep when you have 3 chords. That's the blues. 1, 4, 5. That's literally what's happening. It just wasn't invented yet. And you slow it down and you bring it to the delta. You see? Then the 5 chord. You can move that around, that motion. Blue notes down there. The 5 minor, B.B. King. The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone. The thrill is gone away. The thrill is gone. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now, John had a teacher. He had a teacher in Metairie, Louisiana.
Yes.
Miss Shirley.
Ooh,
came from Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Now, did she work with you on this kind of thing, or was it just like what was on the score?
No, she would put the scores on the music stand, and the music would be there, and she would say, okay, here's how it goes. And she would play it first. She wouldn't play the record, she would sit down and play it. And then I would try to learn it, and we'd go a few bars at a time. And then I started to realize that I was picking it up faster than I was reading it. At 11 years old, I was just picking it up from when she would play it. So then I would play, and if I made a mistake, she would tell me what it was, or she would play it. Then I would encourage her to play it. So by the time she played it 2 or 3 times, I had it. So it was in my ear. And then what I would do on the weekends, I started playing shows around, 2 years from that, when I was 13 or 14 years old. I was playing with my peer, the great, my brother, Trombone Shorty. Woo! We started a band together. And we started a band, we played every, it actually wasn't the weekends, it was Wednesday nights at the Maple Leaf. Yeah. So in New Orleans, this is a venue that's like a shotgun house. Like it's just straight back. And then there's an old barrel house piano in there. And that's what I would play, or I'd bring my keyboard. I played a song from Miss Shirley's lessons at the Maple Leaf. And I would just mess around with them. And that was the beginning of me in conversation with classical canon.
Did you have to do that, John? I mean, for the audience, or was that something that was just in you for some reason?
It was just a part of the spirit of those early days. We would explore all music. We would explore Beethoven. We'd explore video game music. We'd explore salsa music. We'd explore, obviously, the canon of jazz. And we'd find a way to express what we thought and what we were interested in at the time through these different forms of music. So we would take a Charlie Parker tune, and then we'd put a backbeat on it. And we'd play it like it's the bunny hop, or we'd bounce, or we'd take a song from the video games we'd play and we'd improvise on it and make it long form movements. Or we would take, Beethoven or Mozart and put some blues on it. And that was just a part of learning how to sound like yourself.
Yeah. So the same notes that are available to all of us, to you, were available to Mozart. Yes. But he didn't use those notes in the way that you're doing. Now, is that because of like geographics, or is it because of time, like 200 years removed? Why wasn't Mozart thinking about the blues in that way?
Well, it wasn't invented in this way yet. The feeling was there in humanity, but there was not a name for it, or a form, or a culture. And that's the beauty of music. When you are in the canon, the honor is that people forget you. They remember your melodies. They don't remember the intentions of the melody. They don't even remember where they heard the melody. We have this thing in classical music that's this dogma and over reverence to the score. When Mozart was a great improviser, he was the one known to just come on stage and play, and it would be different every time. Sometimes he would do something where there'd be no music, and he would create extemporaneously, spontaneous composition. And many of the great works and great composers were in the improvisatory tradition. We've gotten away from that in classical music. And I'm thinking about how it would be something that you heard, a folk song or a melody that just your grandmother played you, and they would make something out of it. And now we're hearing their melodies, and we don't know what their original intention was. We don't have recordings of them playing their work. And the more time that passes, these melodies become ubiquitous in the air. They're part of our birthdays and our graduations, and they're part of our ringtones, and they're just part of the. So then it's up to the artist today to continue the conversation, and the extension of the continuum of human creativity is with us. So we take everything that's with us and we continue to expand on it. And that's what the time is now for classical music.
So who was that? Was it Miss Shirley? Was it Ellis Marsalis maybe? Who gave you this like idea that, you know, you could just be free with your music making? There were no like boundaries and limitations. You could just express however you wanted to. Who gave you that idea?
I had great mentors. My teachers, you know, Miss Shirley, she was always encouraging of the jazz. In fact, I would always close our piano recitals, and then sometimes when we did the Bach competitions, we would do these competitions where it'd be strict classical, and then at the end she would say, okay, now John, play some jazz for the people. Show them the jazz chops. So now I play, and then it'd be fun to play Take the A Train or something at the end of a Bach competition. And everybody's like, oh, what? So then I was very open on the classical side. And then on the jazz side, my father, first musical mentor, Ellis Marsalis, Alvin Batiste, Kid Jordan. These are elder statesmen in the music who were humble enough, and we're grateful to them for their ability to stay back and invest in the community. They stayed back for 40, 50 years when they could have had their own careers, and they taught every generation, everybody that you heard of from New Orleans that you know, that you love, was touched by one of these elders or all of them. So it's amazing that they were able to instill in me at that time when I first started playing, you can express and create and free associate and take music and make it your own and mold it into the shape that you want it, because that's what music is for. So that's what my earliest lessons and philosophy were. That was instilled in me from day one.
Now you talked about some of those tunes that, you know, maybe your grandmother sang, or tunes that are so ubiquitous, part of our culture. You're working with one of those tunes. We call it Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you gonna do that one for us today?
Yeah, you know, that's a tune. It's funny because you think about how many different songs were inspired by this melody. You know. And then you see something. And then you could see. I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them blue for me and you.
And I said to myself,
You see? What a wonderful world. That's Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. There's so many things that we are even singing every day or hearing every day and unaware of the connections over generations, over centuries, millennia, connecting melodies. And that's the beautiful thing that I'm excited about. One of the most exciting things actually about being an artist today is there's such a wealth of history and tradition and music that we can express honest, authentic emotion through.
and you have access to it these days more so than we did 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Absolutely.
It's amazing. And I'm grateful to be able to look at the canon of great work and be a part of it. It's a gift. It's a treasure. I'm very humbled to be a part of it. And I have such a deep respect for all of the creative artists out there in the world who are trying to find the most authentic, true expression and share it with people around them.
Now, when you hear a ringtone like that, does your mind start working like, what key is that in? What could I do?
I heard it. You know. I had to hear it.
What you gonna do for us,
Man, there's a tune. Actually, speaking of some of my early mentors, there's a left hand purveyor of melody in the left hand and percussion. Henry Butler, he used to play that, and he had all kinds of things that he showed me when I was about 15 years old about rhythm, the bambula, the left hand, and how to create momentum in the piano alone to make it feel like a band or orchestra, and to make it feel like you're creating something that feels very singular to your rhythmic sensibility. So I took that philosophy and all those early lessons, I applied that to Mozart, and one of the songs on the album is called Country's Art, because it's very country. The sounds is like, hey, yeah. And then so, and you speak about Marcus Roberts, the J-Master, he was another one. I remember a few different moments that were transformational for me. One of them was a conversation that I was privy to. I was sitting with Marcus Roberts and Henry Butler. And I was 19 at the time. I just moved to New York a couple years before that. And they were talking about the left hand and how the art of the left hand is something that needs to continue on. Because a lot of music at the time that was coming out in jazz was very intellectual and had a lot of complexity and counterpoint. But that left hand and that rhythm and keeping that going, that can be deceptive. It sounds simple, but that's some of the most complex movement that you can create if you can keep the left hand in a certain motion, in a certain logic, while on the right hand you're doing all of the other stuff. So that's what I was gonna do with Country's Art.
Does Mozart present any problems for you differently than, let's say, Beethoven? Is there something in Mozart's music that doesn't lend itself to that sort of treatment, to swing or to blues, or is there any issue with that?
It's how do you say there's a difference in the way the music is constructed. Mozart has a lot of symmetry, and there's really quick turns of phrase that go back and forth between the left and the right hand, that are the identity of the piece. So you can't change as much of the melody without losing the identity of the piece. Whereas with Beethoven, there's that sort of logic, but it's more symmetry of form. He's creating these big structures and movements within movements. So then you have to understand what is the overarching picture and how do you want to address each part of the structure. Mozart is, what are the essential melodies and how do you want to redress the essential melodies? So that's the difference of logic of approaching reinvention of the different composers. So you have to always find what is the underlying essence of the way they approach music. It's like if you're going to take Thelonious Monk and you're going to write an arrangement of Monk, there's certain things that are the essence of Monk that if you take out, it loses some of the intensity and the weight of the music. And I learned that from arrangements across different genres of music, not just classical. What is the essence of Mozart? How do you find the essence of the thing? Because you don't want to reinvent and lose the beauty of the starting point. You don't want to be stuck to it, but you also don't want to lose the essence of it.
So how do you work out these problems, if they are problems? Like, is it like something in the middle of the night, like, oh, I got it, I figured it out? Or is it something you do at the piano? You have to be there to sort of sort those things out.
You know, a lot of times I think about it for long periods of time without playing at all. Yeah. Just sitting with the idea. And you sit with it for months, sometimes years, and sit with the idea of something you want to do until it gets clear and it feels like it's time to do it, which is hard to explain. It's a feeling. It's just like a thing of like, oh, it's time to record. It's time to go play this. It's time to find a way to make that real. And then once that happens, I go to the piano and it feels like it's very quick. Like a lot of the Beethoven or the Mozart recordings are all in one day. So it happens in one day, and I'll learn the scores, and I'll, if things I don't know, I'll read it, I'll study it, I'll listen to it, find different versions of it, and then I'll play. But it was a long road to get to that one day. So it's quick, but it's slow.
Yeah. So Mark, I'm about to call you Marcus, brother. Because what he's doing at the piano, especially what you just did in that left hand, that was Marcus going from duple to triple meter. And
yeah, Marcus, ooh, that sound of finding a way to make the time feel solid, but also over the bar line. So you're obscuring the time while also creating the same momentum as if you weren't obscuring the time. You're making it, it's a form of abstract expressionism, but you're not trying to make it more opaque. You're actually trying to make it even more clear by adding, by going across the margins. So that's the difficulty of that, not just the idea of it, but how do you make it feel a certain way? You talk about time, it's really both how does it fit in the measures, but it's also how does time feel? You can be slowing down or speeding up, or you can be stretching rubber band time, and it can still feel right. And it can feel, that's what Alvin Batiste, one of the things he would always say is, you can be correct or you can be right. Some things are correct, but it's not right. And it's like, okay, so you don't want to be just correct. You want it to feel right.
Okay, so with that in mind, John, I'm wondering, like when this record comes out and you're out performing it, when you go from one room to the next, one house to the next, one audience to the next, I mean, you can play it correctly, right? You can play it just like you played on the record, but it may not be right from one room to the other room. So how do you, as an artist, how do you determine like what's right for this situation?
Well, you always are aware of the room tone, and the collective creates a feeling that's spiritual that you tap into, and you're co-creating the moment with the audience. You're co-creating it with your fellow bandmates, and you're following whatever is coming through your vessel, and you do that same way that I imagine if Mozart was doing these extended improvisations and people were listening to him play, and they have these accounts of him, his body would be taken over with the music. I've seen that. See that John Coltrane. You see that kind of, something takes over when you get to that place where you don't know what you are gonna play in the next second. You just flow state, and then you listen back and you wonder, how did we do that? How did that happen? So that's what I always try to go after. The shows that I play, even with the band or with orchestra, or any sort of ensemble where we're all creating together, I'm following a flow, and it can change, and it can move wherever it needs to move. I'm always open to that first. I have a plan, but then I follow that.
Mm-hmm. So since you're able to do that, and you know it's important that you're able to do that, how do you find the musicians that you're going to work with that also understand that and can go there with you? I remember somebody asked Ellington, you know, what is it you look for when you hire a bandmate? He's like, big ears. What is it for Batiste?
Wow, so you gotta have the spiritual hearing to know when you should play and when you should lay out, to know that something is available to us that's not on the page, and it's right there, and we can go there if we all go there at the same time, but we all got to be aware that it's available to us, and understanding that there's more than just the notes happening. Got to be able to play the notes, because I like to play a lot of notes, but then it's more than the notes is happening. It's a lot more.
Talk about, I want you to play, man. Everybody want to hear you play.
Yeah.
But I could just sit here and talk to you, you know?
Yeah. We're in the zone.
Yeah.
Dirty Red. In the zone.
Yeah, man.
But what you want to do? How you feeling?
Hey, man. I want to hear you play.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll come back and talk a little more.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Yeah. What did I do?
What is that?
Ah. You see, that's a F major 7 with the suspended 9.
Soul Job.
Yeah.
Oh, I might.
See that? Yeah. Everybody play that part fast. I like this song like almost in like a ballad, like how Barry Harris.
Yeah.
Like that sound is something on it.
So what you're doing is
That sounding
tactile,
good.
right? You're not thinking like, okay, I'm gonna move to this chord. You just feel, you just know where your hands need to go.
Yeah, like what I'll do by the time I'm touring and performing these pieces is I'll have an arrangement in my mind that is a sort of it's an option of where it could go. But then I'll always have some spontaneous composition in the moment that will happen that will create another direction. But as of now, when I recorded this, as I was saying before, it's just one day. So I don't even remember what I did on the recordings. It was a spontaneous capturing of the essence of that moment that I felt was indicative of the whole vision, and it was perfect as the vision for the album. So now, to perform these, I would have to sit and spend another day or two really finding the approach now to rendering it live. But I'm doing it now, so I hope it sounds all right.
You know what? That's not much different from the way, you know, Mozart and Beethoven, you know, they would have students sit around and watch them play, listen to them play, and they would notate what they were doing.
Exactly.
You know, and then basically the same thing.
Yes,
So,
yes.
So I want to ask you about, like, you know, Mozart, Beethoven. Were these composers essential to your training? And if so, who else? Who else is there? You know, who else was so important to your musical life in that way?
Yes, of course, Bach was the first one. I learned Bach when I was very early in classical studies. That was the first stuff we learned. We learned Bach's music, and the inventions were the first thing we learned. And then in jazz, some of the earliest music was Thelonious Monk. So, in fact, the very first 12-bar blues that I'd ever learned was Straight No Chaser. So if I think back, it would be Bach and Thelonious Monk, as well as Beethoven and Mozart.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
I love it. You know that?
Monk Meditations, you know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right. Monk Meditations. Now that's, Monk had, if you listen to his melodies, an inherent spirituality. It's akin to Eastern practices. If you think of Buddhism, or you think about the way that meditation and the way of serenity and contentment, and that's in Monk's music, the way of connecting with the world around you, see? You hear that in his melodies and in his harmony. And then if you extend that, extend the feeling that's already inherent in the music, it becomes a meditation.
It's like a raindrop prelude. Same thing, met across cultures, you know.
The mist.
Yeah. Jon Batiste. Hey man, I'm gonna let you get out of here, but a couple more things. You're calling this record Black Mozart.
Yeah.
So now is this you taking Mozart through some black communities and introducing him to sound that came about after he left 200 or so years ago? Or are you saying, Jon Batiste, am the black, I'm like Mozart, but I got some melanin. Which is it, or is it both?
I like that. I'm gonna go with both. That's great. I love that. I think it's amazing to it's like when you look at basketball, and we're in the finals right now, and everybody's playing, and they talk about who's the greatest and the greatest of all time. Is it Michael Jordan? Is it LeBron? Is it Wilt Chamberlain? Is it Kareem? And you know, with music, it's great because it's subjective. There's no score. There's just the aspiration to do the greatest work you can do. Do I want to be like Mozart? Yeah. I want to be the greatest that I can possibly be. And I'm measuring up against that. I'm not just looking at this time. I'm trying to express across the entire spectrum of human creativity. And that's a beautiful thing to be able to pursue in your life, especially when it's all for the betterment of humanity.
That's right. And you know, the first piece you played was that Turkish piece, right?
Yes.
So there's Mozart looking outside of his own neighborhood, listening to these Turkish musicians doing exactly what you talked about.
That's why I think music is still undisputed as the universal language, because you can see how music can speak to people and be an allegory for you going outside of your neighborhood and checking some stuff out. I also love the idea of showing the world that we, black people, black Americans, black people all around the world, we enjoy classical music too. That's a beautiful thing to be able to share and to affirm and to also introduce. Because I think that, you know, a lot of times the media cycles and the stories can be very marginalizing and limiting of the perception and depth of who we are. And people in general, everybody faces some level of this in the way that our media has created these sort of silos and separations. That's why I'm always going from genre to genre, because I don't actually believe in that. So I'm expressing the truth of who I am and where I come from. And that's exciting because I think that's going to make a lot of people feel empowered to do the same.
Yeah. This, what you're presenting, this Beethoven, all the work you do, man, there's a lot of freedom in what you're doing, but there's some structure and there's a lot of, you know, heart, a lot of mind, and a lot of soul.
Got to put them together.
This record is going to come out on a day that represents freedom for our country.
Yes.
For all of us.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
It's freedom for one, is freedom for all. That's it.
Was that your thinking in releasing this on Juneteenth?
Yes, I always think about the release days and aligning with some sort of very clear momentum in the realm of the ancestry of whether it's the country or the music or my family. I put my first album, We Are, out on the birthday of my late grandmother, Henrietta Gaucher. And my second album, World Music Radio, came out on the birthday of my late grandfather, David Gaucher. And I think about whether it's connected to me, connected to our country, connected to our culture, connected to the expression of something that's bigger than me. And connecting that to this music makes the most sense, because think about what this is actually doing. It's showing that the continuum of music and the contribution of Black Americans and the freedom and the music that has been created in the spirit of overcoming and resilience has been able to perfectly fit into the canon next to what we consider to be the great classical music. The canon has expanded. And now we're going to continue to expand it. From me forward, we all have something to contribute. And I want to make everybody aware through the music that your voice is valuable and it has a space in this world that we call classical too.
You gonna play something else? Take us out of here, boss.
Yeah.
I hope you will.
Huh.
Batiste. Jon Batiste live in the green space. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thanks to the green space team. Jon Batiste. Thank you all for coming out. Thanks to the green space team. I'm Terrance McKnight. See you all on the radio. Have a great afternoon.